There are a number of people that get very upset when I cover a crime in a post on Twitter or in a video, or in a video on my YouTube channel. By the way, the link is in my bio. Better start subscribing. And they get very upset when the perpetrators in those particular crimes happen to be white. Okay? And for them, I must rather focus on other things. Why don't you focus on the government? Why don't you focus on crimes committed by other people? Why do you focus on these crimes? Well, the fact that they're asking those questions is why I actually should be covering what I'm covering, because they still attach race to crime. When we, normal people, know that criminals come in all shades. Okay. But what they get very upset with, and I've actually noticed that on Twitter, and I still call it Twitter because I was there before he was there, and is that there are people that, for instance, will sarcastically say, is this white genocide? Okay. And then they get very frustrated and they say, think about the victims and this is just crime. All of a sudden, they know what crime is. And we're talking about these race grifter types. And what they don't realize is they've done this. The race grifters amongst us have done this, where people can look at a story and the victims now become peripheral in these stories. And it's about a scoreboard. Okay. And that's something I never wanted. But we also have to take responsibility for not addressing the race grifters amongst us. For instance, when you have someone that is a pure race grifter, known for actually doing in white Afrikaners in this country, but he's in the United States, Jason Bartlett. So AfriForum distributes information on farm attacks. Now, when it comes to AfriForum's information, they are spot on. However, they do promote certain crimes more when it comes to, their reaction to certain crimes where the victims happen to be white. However, when it comes to their stats, they don't lie. They also don't make it race related. So they circulate this. A list of farm attacks from the 30th of January 2026 to 8 February 2026. So 30 January 2026, Shakaskraal, KwaZulu-Natal, and that also included a murder. Then 3 February 2026, Wolseley, Western Cape, and 3rd February 2026, Swartruggens, Northwest. And what happens? The race grifter, Jason Bartlett, goes and says the genocide continues in South Africa. The genocide of who? And that is my problem with people like this. They have got no concern about actual victims. And on a side issue, Jason Bartlett's entire family, his elderly parents, are in South Africa during a genocide, and this grifter has done absolutely nothing about that. But here's the thing, this erases victims totally. The one murder victim of a farm attack in that report happens to be an Indian man, Aman Gyanshwar Singh. It was a brutal attack, and it was a robbery too, and he lost his life. But now he is part of the genocide narrative, according to race grifter Jason Bartlett. And until we stop this, until we address the race grifters amongst us, we are going to continuously get a certain reaction. We are also not going to be having productive discussions around rural safety.